So this is another update of my garden, square foot style. Got these beautiful cabbage coming in. I'm very happy with how they're going. I got some of my tomatoes, well actually all the tomatoes that I'm planting in this garden planted. That's a cuke melon. I hope it lasts. It looks kind of, we got it at a greenhouse that we haven't bought before. But I started composting in beans that I have here. Some more beans there. I want to plant some more. Not all of them sprouted.
Hi, Daddy.
But then I need to go through and decide what is parsnips and what is weeds in this bed. And then another round of beets coming up. That's a weed right there. A lot of times I just wait for things to grow because you can't really tell when they're small, and in these beds it doesn't really matter so much. The broccoli is ready to harvest. I'm actually going to harvest that today. I got these onions, they tipped over, and I think it's just they're trying to get more sun, because as you can tell right now my garden is in a shade. But the broccoli, they're kind of smaller, but that's okay, they'll still be delicious. My peas are doing phenomenal. I'm super happy with them. Well, you can't really tell because of the shade. But I'll step back here. We put the tomato cage around them to help support them. And you can see them right there. They're all the tall things, which makes me super happy because once they're done, we will take them and feed them to the chickens. So we're creating chicken feed as well.
It's sunny, Daddy. It's sunny.
Yeah, my son's standing in some of my beds. These ones aren't doing as good, but once again, they're not trellised like the other ones are. And now you see a little hand. But my beets, I think they're getting close to having done. I don't know what I got on them to give them that fungus. We've eaten some greens off of them. And I did end up potting those little raspberries. The one died out. The other one's doing great, and I'm hoping to get them transplanted. Bennett, don't tear off the leaves, please. But that's all going great. I've got that pretty much full of compost, and I'm gonna keep on keeping it strained as I use it throughout the garden to mulch in my plants. I mulch them in like that with compost because it helps save. Bennett, don't sit on those. But this raspberry plant is doing amazing. I love it.
I love it too.
I can't wait for it to start blooming and have raspberries on it. Neither can my son. So I'm out in the garden today to give a quick update. Those have bloomed out amazing. We're gonna get a lot of peas. I am super excited. My wife harvested the broccoli today. So I'm actually taking them out, ripping all of the leaves off of it and feeding it to the chickens. And then the stem, what's left, I put in the compost bin. Because that part the chickens really don't like and they won't eat. And my son wants to pick off what's left of these because he loves broccolis. So I'll let him take it off. And then back in here, while we harvest this one, I'm probably going to come back in and plant some type of bush bean or a pole bean or something just to keep the garden going. But that's how you do it with these square foots, is you just keep on putting in what you take out. That way you have enough. You have a constant flow of vegetables. Sorry, I noticed some weeds. It's a lot of the trees that blew in. But the onions are doing great as well. The kale is just about gone. And I mean, this one I really like. You can see this is loaded with peas. So we're gonna have a lot of peas here shortly. The downside is I think they're gonna come on when we're on our vacation next week. So we'll either have a whole bunch of hard gross peas when we come back, or maybe we'll pick them before we go on Tuesday. So now that I got the broccoli pulled up, it's just simple. Some of my sifted compost right here. Just take this and throw a little handful like that in there. And then, ooh, that looks like a weed that got dug up. And just mix it in with my hand. You don't need to do any hardcore tillage. I mean, you just don't want to disturb the root systems of these other plants too much. as we letting them grow out, and they grow into each other. But now that's enough to have this bed ready for the next one that comes in and the next thing that I plant. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bush bean, because we have some bush beans. I like the bush beans in the square foot garden because you can plant them anywhere without worrying about a trellis or them tipping over. So I think I'm going to put a bush bean here, and then on this one, since it's 8 inches-ish, it's 7 3/4 or close to 7.5. I'm going to take, and I already put the compost in here, I'm going to probably plant some carrots or maybe some radishes, a type of root plant. Most likely a carrot, because the radishes are brassica, and I had broccoli in there before, and you shouldn't be putting similar plant families together. That's kind of seen as a no-no. It allows for bacteria and other fungi that could potentially hurt the plant to grow, and it will hurt that family of plants to grow there. So it's better to mix them up out of the family if you can. But that's my plan. I kind of snuck this, I can't remember, I think it's a butternut squash in next to these peas, because some of the peas didn't plant. So I thought, well, what am I going to do with this space? I don't want it to go to waste. And then I realized, well, gosh, those peas, I'm probably going to pull them up at the end of June, beginning of July. So I'm going to sneak this in right here, and then we'll just trellis it on up as well, right next to that tomato. These are supposed to be a little bit more hungry, so I'll probably have to compost it in a little bit more often than the other plants, just to help feed these two. But last year I grew all kinds of squash mixed in with tomatoes by accident, and the compost helped make sure all of them had enough nutrients to produce good enough crops on all of them. What do I have right here? Looks like a cocoon. I might take it in, or is it just beginning to start a cocoon? I'm not sure. I'm gonna feed it to the chicks, whatever it is.